And welcome back to Dwain Woode, MD Live. We are here for another amazing show as we transition from our Play Your Own Game series into the Finishing Strong series. We've been talking about how do we implement the things that we've learned. How do we make that stuff stick as we are heading towards what we call the finish line? Right? How do we make sure that we don't get distracted? And that's what we're going to be talking about here on this episode of Dwain Woode MD Live as we continue this idea of finishing strong. Now, we did a great job, and you guys did an amazing job in the idea of playing your own game. This concept that you are in a game, our health game, and how you play it and how consistent you are depends on the alignment of what you're doing with what you want in your life. Now, all the metrics, all the things that we tell you, A1C and weight goals and blood pressure and blood sugar, all of those are still valid, but how we get there can be different. And that was all about knowing you, knowing who you are, how to not get distracted by the scoreboard, not comparing yourselves to other people. But here is the thing. Once you're playing your own game, the question becomes, will you finish it? And that's what September is all about, finishing strong. And just like sports, just like when you have a project, it doesn't matter how well you start the game if you can't finish in the final quarter. If you can't finish, if you can't get across that line, you can put up the points early, but if you lose focus when the buzzer is about to sound, then what have we been doing? So tonight in this episode 2, this is the second week, we are talking about finishing strong in this series. We're going to talk about the first ingredient that separates winners from people who don't get what they want at the finish line, and that is focus. So stay with us as we move through this series. Glad that you're here, whatever platform you're joining us from. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments, because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And say that we are so glad that you are in this space as we move through our series tonight. Make sure if you have a question, put it in the comments and put a Q in front of it, because we will make sure that we are getting to those. Special shout out. Well, actually, do this for me. Wherever you're joining us from, just drop that in the chat, please. We've got folks who watch us from overseas. We got some folks from South Korea. We've got Netherlands. We've got people who are in London. We've got folks, of course, here around the United States, New York and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Georgia and Tennessee. And of course, here in Alabama, we've got Nebraska. We've got California, Texas. Wherever you are, and I'm not going to call because I'm going to forget somebody. So charge that to my head and not my heart. We're going to forget somebody. But just a quick shout out to a few people. If you're here because you saw our content at your church, your doctor's office, you saw it in some other social sphere, or someone invited you because they saw it, glad that you're here. Special shout out to our folks from Atlanta Berean in Atlanta, Georgia, from Riverside Chapel in Nashville. And new to us just this week is those are our folks up in Louisville, Kentucky. So glad that you guys are here. Once again, the Magazine Street Church up in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you guys for coming through. We'll say hello to our community members here in just a minute. But I've got some fun things that we're going to take a look at. I've got my monitors that we'll see off to my side, what's been going on with my blood sugar. I've got my Dexcom Clarity right below me, so we'll see what's been happening with those blood sugars as well, and we will move through that space. Just some special things that I want to point out. Let's go over here. Special things that I want to point out. Once again, as you're coming through the channel, we've got folks who are going to be seeing us and joining us. So I just want to go through this really quickly. If you are coming to the channel, on the channel, there are some simplified things that we've done. We've taken most of the videos off of that main page, and we've created a simplified process for you to just jump in and get to see what's going on. On that main page now, you will see And by the way, all the other videos that we've done are still there. And they tell me that I've done over 2,000 videos, actually 2,200 videos or something like that. But when you get to the channel, now you will see that we've simplified that by creating two playlists. The first one is a playlist that says Start Here. That walks you through the path that we've been on. What are the pillars? What are the most important concepts? What are the landmark episodes that we've done here on the show that will help you get on the path and get started quickly? So that is in that list. There's a PDF that you can download. If you go into the description for that, there's a link that points you to our channel, our website, and you could download that free PDF, and that walks you through those videos, helps you to understand what you should be getting from them. There's some prompt questions that you get to answer and walk through, some exercises you get to do there. And at the end, what I love about the PDF is there is what I call the Limitless Living Commitment Statement. And it is a statement that says that I am willing to do the things that I need to do for my health. There's just some brief verbiage that's there. You sign it, you date it, and I recommend that you print it out, put it in a frame, put it up on your wall, put it on your desk, put it on your mirror, somewhere where you can see it on a daily basis, and it reminds you of the commitment that you've made for yourself and for your health. And then going back to the channel, there is a section called This Week's Videos. So if you want to know what's going on this week, what are the conversations we're having this week? What are the topics? What are the shows? You can get there and you will see this week's videos right there, and that will update actually right after this show tonight, right? So that all those will show up because this is our main show that kicks off the week. And so all of those will update. So right now, when you get there, this week's videos actually has last week's video. So after this show, those will go away, and we'll start out with this show. So if you're pointing people to the channel, have them go there, and that will help them to get to where they need to be to get started. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump over and let's take a look at blood sugars. First, I want to take a look at what's going on with my Freestyle Libre. And right now you see my Freestyle Libre says that my blood sugar is 84. There's that number right in there. And if I scroll down, you'll see the graph that shows what my blood sugar has been doing earlier today. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna put my finger on that and just kind of scroll through so you can see. Started out today there, this about 12 hours ago in the low 100s, and right about lunchtime, we popped up and went up to about 142 right there. Okay, so right about 2 o'clock, so about 2 hours after lunch, and then started coming back down, and then made another turn to go up and went up to, what was that, 118, 124. Let me get rid of this. All right, 124 and 121, 124, and then came back down. Actually dipped down to near 70 right in there, and then back up to 90, and then down to where we are right now. Okay, so we're looking at this graph right about here. If I go to Insights and go to Reports, time in range, and we can see 7-day time in range. You see there it says 86% in range with 14% low, and those lows that you're seeing there are usually when I'm fasting. Okay, so we do a fast once a week, and so usually when I'm fasting, my blood sugar goes low, and that's why you don't see. And if you add the 14% with the 86%, that gives you the total of 100%, okay? If I go to 90 days, you'll see 87%, so similar, and then 13% in the lows down here. Going backwards and looking at my average blood sugar, once again, looking at average for 7 days, right up here, you see that number, and that is my average for the last 7 days. If I look at, and you see down here, it breaks it down according to the time of day. So between 85 and 90s, there's a 99, right? Was the highest that we see there. If I go to the 90 day, my average is 89 right there. And then looking at it broken out into the different days or different times of the day, we go anywhere from, let's see, 86 to about 94. Okay, So I love this because I can kind of look at it that way. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look and let's see what my Dexcom Clarity is saying, or my Dexcom report is saying. And let's say continue there. And so my Dexcom, that's my blood sugar right now, 103. And as you know, the Dexcom tends to be a little higher than the Libre, 103. Libre right now saying I'm in the 80s. If I look at the 24-hour graph, which is right down here, and I put my finger once again, starting out in the low 100s, 110s, and then coming into the rest of the day, into the morning, 140s, and then back down to 130s, and right there, well, it's in the morning. And right there is what I call the toothpaste effect, if you guys have been following us. All right, and then coming out into the afternoon, and right there, lunch again, and that's what we saw on the freestyle, where the blood sugar actually went up as well at lunchtime. And this one that says that it actually went up to about, was that 173? I think is the highest right there. Yeah, 173, and then back down, and we're looking at this graph down here, back down to where we are right now in the 100s. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and let's look over to, we'll take a look at what's been going on with my Dexcom Clarity, and this gives me the opportunity for us to look across days. This one that we just looked at when we looked at those reports on the actual device, that gave me numbers for the last at least up to 24 hours. This one allows us to look across days for blood sugars. And so here I am, average of 112 over the last 14 days. Remember the last one we only saw 7 days. So 112 over the last 14 days. I usually tell people that I want their blood sugars to be between 100 and 120. So that's right in keeping with that. Now here's let me make a comment here, and I say that all the time. 100 to 120 is where I want your number. That's not to say that your number is not going to go above that, but the average of those of that time, we want it to be within that range. So you'll see, on different occasions, different days, different things that's going on. You're not sleeping well. You've got some pain. You've got it's your birthday. It's Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. It's whatever the holiday, and you ate something. The blood sugar will go up, and it may go up above the range that I just gave you. But we want the average of that over the last little bit, whatever time you're looking at. We want the average to be between 100 and 120. And so here looking at the time and range, so it says 100%, and we are in target in the range 70. The range is 70 to 180 with a glucose management indicator of 6.0. So if I were to get a glucose, an A1C at the time, then I would expect it to approximate this number. I can't call it an A1C because it's a calculation, but it should be pretty close. Several weeks ago, I did a show where we actually went through my numbers, and go back and watch that, and you'll get to see what mine was compared to the Libre and the Dexcom. So that was an interesting conversation to have. If I go here now and I change this to the 90-day average, okay, if I can get it to click, and for some reason it's not doing, there we are. Okay, I thought I did. Okay. Some reason it's not letting me do that. So 14, oh, I thought I did. Come on. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. But let's go ahead and let's see what my daily, okay, there it is. See what my daily numbers are. And so we're starting, let's go back and let's start from where I was when we broke the fast. And so we broke the fast right here, right about 1 o'clock. Let's see, where was that? Yeah, we did the show right about 4 o'clock, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 o'clock. And so we did the show right in here. So blood sugar was 93, and you guys saw what I ate at the time. I had a salad that had garbanzo bean. Anyway, go back and watch that show so you'll see what that was. But a garbanzo bean, it was a salad that had tomatoes. Did it have tomatoes in there? No. Cucumbers, garbanzo beans. I had jerk chicken that I had made, and I can't remember, but go back and watch the show. But anyway, so we started there, 93, and going forward now, so ate that meal, and blood sugar spiked up, looks like up to about 137, 138, 140 is the highs that I saw so far, and then started coming back down into the one teens. So that was up to midnight. And then the next morning, after I ended the fast, 1 teens, 120s, 123, 125, up to 130 right there. And here is the toothpaste effect once again. So this is now Saturday morning. Okay, spiked up to about 140, came back down, 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 down. And right here is where I sat down with the family to have lunch. And we went up to 120s, 130s. I think the highest there, 135 is the highest I see so far. And then back down into the 1 teens, 120s for the rest of the day, down up to 132 right there. And then the next day we were getting ready for a health fair. And at the health fair, let's see, what did I eat at the health fair? I think I had some chips. All right, there it got up to 179. And then back down to the 130s, 140s. And then came home and ate again, and up to 120s, 130s, 150s. And as you guys know, usually I do a 1 meal a day. On Sunday, I didn't do a 1 meal a day because we were out and about. So 1 teens. And once again, coming into today, and that's what we just saw, up to 160 right there, coming back down. Here's the toothpaste effect into the morning, and then here's lunch, and that's what we just saw on the actual phone device. Up to 170s, came down, had another peak, and then down to where we are right now into the low 100s. Okay, so that's what that's showing. Now, what I didn't do, and let's go and let's do that really quickly. I did not show what my numbers are on the Keto Mojo or on the Clarity. And the reason I want to show what it is on the Keto Mojo, because remember, the Keto Mojo gives us not just blood sugar, but it also gives us ketones. And as you're following along, right, one of the things that we are very interested in during the fast, if you're doing a ketogenic diet, if you're doing a fasting mimicking diet, if you are actually in a fast, we want to know, how does my blood sugar correlate with ketones? Because that tells us what's going on in terms of our fat cells. So let's go ahead and let's do that right now. So I've got my monitors, and let's go into our container, and I need a brown strip for blood sugar, and I need a blue strip for ketones. Of course, I need some Lancets. I need 1, but I'm going to take out 2. And then I need strips for the contour. All right, so let's go ahead and grab that out. Boom, boom. And let's get that in here. And let's go ahead and put these down for a minute. Open up the strip this is the blood sugar strip for the Keto Mojo, and get that inserted. And what do you think my ketones are going to be, by the way? So I've not been fasting since Friday, and you've seen what my blood sugars have been over the last several days. And I'm going to open this one up and just have it on the side, because otherwise I may have to stick my finger again, and I don't want to do that. All right, and so here's my Lancet, and as you know, I don't use a lancing device. I simply grab this and open it up, and I find a finger, and we've been picking on this finger right now, so let's go ahead and let's do that. And ow, 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 ow. That does hurt a little bit. And and it hurt, but okay, there it is. It wasn't a brisk drop, but we got one nonetheless. Let's get that started, and that's for blood sugar for the Keto Mojo. Here's the contour, and while that works, I'm going to go back so we can see compare that. So 101 for the Keto Mojo. The contour says I'm 103, and the Dexcom says 104. So the odd man out right now is actually the Libre, because the Libre says that I was 86. Okay, and let me go ahead and see if I can get another drop. I think, oh, there you go, yeah. Okay, so get one more drop. I thought I'd have to do another finger stick. So here comes the ketones. Here comes the ketones. What do you think it's going to be? and get that started. All right, give me a second here. Get something to wipe that off. All right, so ketones, 3, 2, 1, and the ketones are low. Okay, there you go. So when we talk about ketones, remember ketones that are below, right, which is this is below. Ketones that are below 100 are considered, below 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 are considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get my Keto Mojo app. Let's pull that over because let's say I want to have a discussion about this graph really quickly. All right. So below 0.5 considered normal, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above that considered therapeutic ketosis. And so right now I'm low, so I'm below into the normal range. And so this is where we are. And I want you to notice something, right? So because it says low, it could not calculate the GKI. And remember, the GKI is the ratio of glucose to ketones. Because you have a low, you don't have a number, you can't really do that. But what I wanted to do is go over here and look at the graph. All right, so look at this graph. And so the graph that you're seeing, the turquoise line, those are my ketones. And then the tan line, those are my blood sugars. And so as the blood sugar has gone down, so let's start over here. Over here. So we were low, so ketones were high. We went lower, so ketones went higher. And then we started transitioning when I started eating. And so now that the blood sugars are over here, which is high, the ketones have gone low. And remember, ketones cannot stay in existence long when insulin is around. So if I have high sugar, I want you to know this. So if my sugar is high, that means I have to have insulin on board because the insulin is trying to fix the sugar, trying to bring the sugar down. That's an important point, not just here when we talk about the ketones and ketogenic food and fasting, but it also implies, right? It also implies that when I'm eating food, even though my blood sugars are normal, and normal, in this case, notice my blood sugar was, what was it? 103, right? So blood sugars, and we tell people between 100 and 120. So even though my blood sugar is normal, there are no ketones, and there are no ketones because my insulin has to be up. I want you to get that point. Because sometimes we see the blood sugar and we think it's normal, and so if it's normal, everything in our body has to be normal, and that's not the case. As long as your blood sugar is that number, right? So your body has to be producing insulin. The only time your body doesn't produce insulin is if your blood sugar gets low. Because of that, when that insulin is up, your body is not burning fat. I want you to get that point. Because there are no ketones. So my body is not burning fat, or it's not burning fat in an effective way, I guess let me say it that way. It may be burning some, but not to the level where we're losing weight. So even though your blood sugar has been 100, people say, why am I not losing weight? Well, you're not losing weight because your blood sugar is not lower. And blood sugar is not lower, that means insulin is on board, and insulin blunts the body going into fat burning. Okay, that wasn't intended for this, but this was a great place for us to have that conversation, because that is one of the biggest confusions that people have when it comes to blood sugar and weight. They think that just because the blood sugar is 104, which is we tell them is normal, then I should be losing weight, and we can't necessarily lose the weight that we want because there's insulin on board. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello. I see some of our community members out there, so let's say hello, and then let's see who we've got. I see. Let's go back up here. Kenty is out there. What's up, Kenty? Let's go. Let's pull her up. She said, "Let's go." Thanks for coming through. Glad that you are here. Glad that you're here. And then Lucky Soul says, "Hello, doctor at Dwain Woode, MD, GTSY." Hello, everyone. And let me go back. Let me give you a hand clap and some music. There you go. Thank you for coming through. Lucky so. Glad that you were here. And Kenty, it says New Zealand. Oh, come on, New Zealand in the house. There you go. There you go. Steve says Mount Shade, Alabama. Yes, right. We know. We got Pamela from Huntsville right here. And Lucky So says she's in Canada. Well, thank you for coming through, Lucky. And Steve says, hello, friends. Teresa, what's up, Teresa? Hey, doctor and everyone. Steve, Pamela, Kenty. Yeah, glad that you're here. Pam says, hello, Teresa. Hello, Teresa from Steve. And just a hand wave from Lucky So. So I love it. Love the community that we're in. A community that is, I'm reading, but you guys aren't seeing this, huh? Let me go back up. Let's go back here. Let's go here. So here we are. Hello, doctor. Hello, everyone. I was going through it and you guys weren't reading. Auckland, New Zealand. What time is it over there, Kenty? What time do you have over there? Steve right here near me. Pamela right here, very close to where I am. And then Lucky say Canada. Hello, friends. I've got some family actually in Canada. Teresa says, hello, doctor and everyone. Hi, Teresa. Hello, Teresa. And hello, Lucky. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into our conversation, which is actually a very interesting conversation as we continue moving through the space, this idea of transitioning from where we were playing your own game, and we're doing this bridge now into our next series, which will be we're talking about finishing strong, and our next series, which will be about our blueprints. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that right now. So we're talking about focus. Focus, the ability to allow your concentration and your energies to be directed to a point without distraction. So one classic example, Michael Jordan, his famous flu game. You guys remember that? Game 5, 1997 NBA Final. Jordan was battling what everybody thought at the time was the flu. Okay, later it became believed that it was food poisoning. But despite feeling extremely sick and exhausted, he's on the sidelines, and they're not sure what's going on. And the thought was that we weren't sure if he was going to be able to keep going. But he came off the side, sick, exhausted, kept his focus. And you guys go back and watch the final shot that he made and led the Chicago Bulls to a crucial victory. It's a perfect illustration of someone zoning in and finishing strong, even under immense pressure and physical hardship. I talk about basketball a lot because my son likes basketball. Steph Curry. One of the things that I love about Steph is it almost doesn't matter where he is and you've heard me talk about him before. It doesn't matter where he is on the court. You can close his eyes. He can be falling. You can knock him down. He'll be half court. He'll be center court. He'll be, just about to fall out the foul line, and he'll throw the ball up and the ball goes in. So here's what we're going to be talking about tonight. First, we'll look at why focus slips, particularly when we get close to the finish line. Then we'll talk about how we evaluate and really look at the real cost of losing focus. And finally, I'm going to give you 3 anchors to stay laser focused when it matters most. So stay to the end as we get through this, as we talk through this. I want you to think about it like being in the last quarter of a game. The scoreboard is showing that it's tight. The crowd is loud. And it's not about how you started the game anymore. It's about whether you can stay locked in, as my son said, until the buzzer sounds. Can we do that? And that's the question. As we move through playing your game, can we remain laser focused and can we do what we want to do, right? Can we do that? So why does focus slip at the finish? Lots of different reasons. And we talk here and we're using a sports metaphor, but this goes for anything. When you're in the middle of the game, right? You found your rhythm. But when you're near the end, then when fatigue begins to set in, when pressure mounts, when distractions scream the loudest, we can become zoned in on something else. Think about fasting. At 12 hours, you're like, I got this. 24 hours, let's do it. You feel motivated. There's the drive. There's the adrenaline that comes from the start. At 64 hours, 65 hours, 72 hours, suddenly every commercial feels like it was designed just for you. Okay, am I just telling on myself? Right? When you're going through, you're like, oh, I got this. And then it seems as though everything is conspiring to say, no, this is not how we're going to do it. We're going to do something else. In sports, I've seen teams play beautifully for 3 quarters, only to lose everything in the last minutes because they lost focus. It's the same when it comes to our health. The finish line doesn't get closer. It's still where it is. And our focus is what helps us to get there. Now, let me hasten to say this. One of the things that we talk about, and one of the things that I am so passionate about doing, is us understanding what are the things that help us or push us off track. We talk about our HEAT model: habits, emotions, access, and taste. So one of the beautiful things about what we'll talk about here in a minute is this idea of knowing yourself, understanding what buttons there are. I remember going to a conference about weight management. So we had a weight management program, or we have a weight management program in our office, and we were doing a lot of that. And so we went to a conference, and we went to this conference on weight, talking about food. And we left the conference. It was in Biloxi, Mississippi. And we're heading back into Alabama, and you have to cross a bridge. And as we crossed over the bridge, there was this huge sign, we're driving on the highway, and right up there's this huge billboard with this hamburger and a fry. And it was one of those animated, it wasn't animated, but it was one of those moving, almost like a movie. And I saw this drop of like coldness just dripping down the side of the glass, because they make it look so good, don't they? Distractions. We get fatigued because we've been at it. We've been at the grind. I got this, man. I got this. Oh, man, I got this, but it's been a while. Oh, I got this, man. Do I have to keep going? Now, one of the questions one of the comments that I get people say to me is, man, I was going along fine and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. And it is a interesting idea when people say, I don't know what happened. Because in reality, they were zoned in on where they were heading, and things were going on around them. And sometimes we see the finish line and we breathe a sigh of relief. And like, okay, I see it. I can see it now. And that's when it seems like all those things begin coming at us. So understanding who we are, knowing who we are, knowing where we are is a very important thing for us to have, because it can be a big component in what we do as we talk about being or finishing strong. That's the idea, right? So why do people slip at the finish? Well, the next question is, what's the cost of losing focus? Right? What's the cost of losing focus? And I was creating these slides, and as I was going through, there is one thing that I want to correct. I want to correct this, because as I thought about our idea of finishing strong and what we've been talking about, is there's this thing that I grew up believing and grew up thinking in my life. And I want to change that. And I want to change it for you. And it's this idea that almost finishing is just another way of losing. Right? So I want to change that. I want to change that idea. And it comes from just a lot of my personal struggles and my personal journey. But there is a quote that I heard that's attributable to Nelson Mandela. And it says, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't lose, I either win or I learn. And I'm going to pause there for a minute because I want that to sink in. So I either win or I learn. So as we're talking about finishing strong, we're pushing to the end. I want you to get that. We're not pausing, we're not stopping, we're not taking a break. We're pushing to the end. When we get to the end, I want you to understand that your health journey is a game that you play. It's a game that you play your way. That's the whole idea behind play your own game. The metrics that we're shooting for are the same. The A1Cs, the weight, the high blood pressure or the blood pressure, the cholesterol, all of those are the same. The ultimate goal, and I shared this yesterday, we were doing a health fair. The ultimate goal is how do we keep you alive as long as possible and keep you as healthy as possible. Okay? That's the goal. So even as we're talking about pressing and pushing, that's the ultimate goal. The concept here, though, is are we focused on where we're going? Are we giving it our everything? Or are we allowing things around us to pull our energies away? Okay? When we lose focus, we lose more than time. When I break my fast, when I fasted in the past, and I didn't quite make it, I had this idea of what was happening. And let me share with you what happens in our brain. Our mind, our body doesn't like us to be wrong. So it will create a situation where we're correct. Let me say that again. So if we do something, hey, I'm going to X, Y, and Z, and we don't accomplish that, then the brain says, okay, there's a reason why we didn't accomplish it. And it will create a certain scenario where not accomplishing it makes sense. But the thing that happens when it comes to all of those things is we begin to lose trust in ourselves. We did a show several months ago called How to Trust Your Body Again. Because there are all these cues that our body gives us when we're fasting, when we're tired, when we're hungry, and we've actually misinterpreted some of the cues. And the whole idea behind that was, how do we begin understanding those cues again? And trusting ourselves involves us giving evidence that we do what we say. And one of those things is finishing. So when you've made a commitment to other people and you don't honor the commitment, then people begin to say, well, they always say, and they're never finishing. The same thing happens to you, which is why I love this idea of doing incremental steps, because those small wins, when you see that 1 pound go down, when you see that blood sugar drop just a little bit, when you're able to do 12 hours of fasting when you can only do 10 before, all of those are wins. So I don't want people to start fasting at 24 hours. You've never done it before. That's not your thing. I don't want people to get up and go running 10 miles. I just want you to get up. So what we want to do is we want to begin accumulating those wins so that our brain says, okay, I can trust this. I can trust this. So we lose focus. How many times have you seen a race where somebody was up in front and they were going? I mean, they're doing it, right? And there's somebody running, maybe right slightly behind them, and they look over to see how far the person was, and the person beats them. We don't want to get distracted. There are things that will come at us. There are things that we will see. We want to be focused. And focus isn't just about finishing this fast or this workout. It's about proving to yourself that you can finish anything. So all the things that we do, which is the biggest concept behind the play your own game that we just came out of. I'm not trying to be at the same place you are. I'm not trying to fast just like you fast. I'm not trying to lift just like you lift. I'm not trying to walk or run or whatever it is just like you. I'm trying to do it my way, but my goal is the same place. Long, healthy life. Okay? So that's where we're heading. That's what we want to do as we talk about how do we maintain focus. How do we get to the place where, okay, this is what we do. This is how we do. So that's the cost of finishing and not losing focus. Let me say the cost of losing focus. So let me give you 3 anchors. 3 anchors that we can use that helps us as we move through this space. And the first anchor is clarity. Clarity. Just like a basketball player who knows the shot clock is down 3 seconds. They know exactly what to do and when to do it most of the time. Without clarity, you're dribbling around the ball, the court. Without clarity, you're not sure about that project. Without clarity, you're not sure, well, how much money should we be saving? Now I'm talking about all kinds of different things, right? So we're talking about health here, but the same idea transcends this space into everything that you do. So what is the finish line? Where are we heading? Where are we going? What do we want to do for our health? And that's why I've said, and you've heard me say over the last little bit, well, not a little bit, but a while, is this needs to be personal. The number that I give you in the office, the number your doctor gives you in wherever, it's a number. What does it practically mean to you? What is the consequence to you personally of not achieving that? When you think about, man, if I don't get my blood sugar down, if I don't get my weight down, if I don't become healthy, what does that mean for me personally? Does that mean isolation? Because now I have problems in my health, problems in my mobility, problems where I have to be doing something in the medical arena where I cannot be with my family, with my friends. Dialysis, for example, 2 to 3 days, spending hours in the unit, not connecting with other people, not connecting with family, not connecting with friends, having problems with our hips, with our joints, with our back, so that we cannot be mobile. And you hear me say all the time, my goal is to get everybody to be able to wrestle on the ground with their grandkids. I say that, but maybe that's not your thing. But the idea is, what does it mean if you can't do the things in your life that you want to do? And then now I want you to imagine what it's like when you accomplish that goal. When the blood sugar is better, the A1C is better, when you've lost the weight, when the fatty liver is better, when we've delayed or reversed some of your kidney problems. And think of the connection that brings. So clarity, number one. What does it mean for you? Being clear about why you're doing what you're doing and what the goal is allows you to make it across that finish line. To make it so that you can get that A1C down, so that you can lose that weight, so that you can improve those cardiac markers. So when you go to the kidney doctor, he says, man, I don't understand what happened. The numbers are better. You've stabilized. You've been here now for the last 10 years. And it hasn't progressed to worsening. Clarity. That's your rhythm. The why of what you're doing. That allows you to have the power. That allows you to have the power to move across the finish line. The second anchor is simplicity. Simplicity. In the last minutes of the game, we don't want a million steps to the play. We don't add more stuff. We call the best play, and we keep it simple. Get the ball in, box out, get it to that guy or that gal. When distractions get loud, simplicity pre-decides your eventuality. Which is why structure is so important. That's why practicing structure is important. Rhythm, alignment, structure. In the middle of the game is not the time to practice what we should be practicing before. So as we're moving through the space, practice, practice, practice. Practice when it's not under pressure. Practice when it is under pressure. Practice, practice. All the tools that you have at your disposal, this is it right here. Pre-decide your meals. Pre-plan your workout. Don't negotiate with yourself at 10 p.m. when you're tired. Right? Simple things that we do to keep us locked in. And that's the idea. Are the things that we do, the alignment, are those things consistent with where we say we're going? Simplicity and the behaviors, the choices, the rhythm, putting those together making sure that we're not complicating what we're trying to do. Simplicity. Simplicity. And then the third anchor is presence. Yeah. Presence. You can't worry about the last line next week. You can't worry about that last thing next week. You got to play where you are. You can't worry about that next shot. You got to worry about where you are right now. I'm not sure where I heard it, but it was the journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a simple step. If I think about the 1,000 miles, I'm not going. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going. But I can take this step right here. I can take this one. When we talk about addiction medicine and people who are in recovery, we don't talk about the next step. We talk about this one. I don't need you to not do this for the rest of your life. I just need you to not do it this moment. Because if I think about the rest of my life, guess what? That's too powerful. That's too much. That's too heavy. But I can think about this one right here. I play this position. I don't have to think about 72 hours or 24 hours or 48 hours of fasting. I got to think about this hour. As a matter of fact, I'm not even thinking about this hour. I'm thinking about this minute right here. 1 hour at a time. I'm not thinking about, oh, I've got to work out this entire week. I'm talking, okay, I need to go work out right now. I'm not thinking about when you guys see me working out and I'm doing the reps, right? In our sets. I'm not thinking about the fact that, okay, I just started doing the arm twist. And man, I've got to go all the way down. I've got to do the bench presses. I got to do curling presses. I've got to do the dead bugs. I've got to do stomach crunches. I'm not thinking about the entire one. I'm thinking about this exercise. I'm thinking about this rep. I'm thinking about this set. Like right now, I'm not thinking about tomorrow's fast, which we start soon. Think about, okay, what am I going to eat right now? And preparing for tomorrow, because I've got to get that stuff together. But I'm not thinking down the road. I'm thinking about here. So when we talk about the anchors, Number one is, are you clear about why you're doing it? Are you clear about the purpose? Is your why strong enough? Is it simple? It sharpens your focus. And are you present? Are you keeping your eye in the game? Now, if we take that and we morph it, rhythm, alignment, and structure. You've heard me say, when I'm teaching, I teach in Triple E Formula for Success: educate, empower, encourage. When I'm dealing with a patient, I'm dealing with a client, when I'm talking to you about, I'm looking to see, is there rhythm? Do you know your why? Is there alignment? Are the things you do and the decisions you make, are they consistent with where you say you want to go? And do we have something in place, some structure to help us get there? Right? So those are our three anchors, right? Are you there? And so now let's talk about what that means in terms of our health. What does that mean in terms of our health? And here is the play in our health. The last rep in a workout, that's where we get the biggest benefit. Let me pause. All the reps count. But it's usually that last one, right? That time under tension. It's usually that last one that burns a little bit more. It's the last one, right? When we get those muscles have been going, and those first couple of reps, yeah, you got them, right? As a matter of fact, that first set, you make it through that set. Second set, you make it through. And you hear me say, if you're on the, if you watch the show, you hear me say those last 2 reps in the last set. Man, I really feel that. The last hour of the fast. Resilience deepens. The last weeks in the year, that's where momentum for the next year is created. Focus turns effort into victory. And here's the bridge. Here's the bridge. Focus is the pencil that draws your blueprint. We're focusing. Laser sharp. We understand where we are. We're clear about it. We're not, there's no doubt about what we want. We're making it simple. We're not complicating it. And we're present right here, right now, so that we can give our entire energy, all of our focus to where we are. Focus is what makes the design come alive. The fourth quarter, the finish line, whatever the project is, that's where winners are made. The finish line is where they have the cameras. People are taking pictures. The beginning, everybody's cheering. Yeah, let's do it, let's do it. The middle, right? You're kind of running and you're doing your thing, and it's quiet. But when we get to the finish line, finishing strong means staying focused when fatigue, pressure, distractions are all at their peak. You're tired. Your anchors are the clarity, simplicity, and the presence that you have. Have you gone through, and is there rhythm? Do you know your why? Is there alignment, that's decisions you're making that you've practiced? Are they in the direction of what you say you want to go? And are you present, focusing right here? And every time you finish with focus, you prove to yourself that you can finish strong. Focus is the first building block of your blueprint. It is where we find ourselves often. And if we're not careful, the distractions can take us away from where we want to go. So we don't want that to happen. We want to stay focused. We want to stay zoned in. We want to stay locked in and finish strong. And that's our thought, our finishing strong thought for this episode. All right, so that's you guys. I always say that I love all of these topics because they are so powerful and they transcend. We're talking about health, but they transcend the health space. Remember, limitless living is transcendent. It's not just confined here. Remember what it says. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans, and we are improving. Here's the challenge for you for this week. Practice one act of focus every single day. Pick one. Every single day, the same thing. Maybe it's one focused meal. Maybe it's 1 hour of fasting. Maybe it's one focused workout. Maybe it's one focused conversation. Maybe it's one focused meditation. One focused 10 minutes, a half an hour, whatever, of journaling. Maybe it's one focus sitting out on your deck, sitting on your porch, sitting in your living room where you are quiet and you are listening to yourself. One focused time where you are saying, okay, right here, I'm doing what I need to do. Because practice, 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 practice. As we move into the bridge series that's coming up, as we say finishing strong, focus is one of those pillars. And let us know what you do. Drop it in the comment. Come back next week. Let us know. As you're going through the course of the week, right? You come on. We're going to be talking about focusing this entire week, right? Because remember, the show sets the tone for the week. We're going to be talking about when we start fasting tomorrow. We'll be talking about our show coming up on Wednesday, Thursday. That's the theme for this week, focusing. Because the way you finish this month, as we get into the next month, right? Fourth quarter, and we move into the Blueprint series, that series that we're going to be talking about, finishing strong, that's going to be important. That idea of focusing. If tonight's show encourages you, share it with somebody. Let them know. Somebody who needs to finish, somebody who needs to hear the message. And don't forget that limitless living is not about finding benefit and keeping it to ourselves. Limitless living says that as we get better, then we share that with the entire community so that the entire community grows. That's why our Triple E formula for success is so exciting to me, because it teaches, we educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcast. This week, yesterday, we were out in our community sharing the concept of health. We had a health fair at our church. We educate. Because when we understand how the body works, we get to make decisions that are aligned with our rhythm, with our why. But if we don't understand, if we have a misguided understanding or concept, then the decisions we make are flawed. Not by choice, but just because of bad data. So we educate, we empower. The empowerment comes with all the tools that we're learning, the HEAT model, the COPE model, the balanced bites that we have, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. All of that is designed to give you a tool so you can apply the things that we learn. On the channel, we've got the 100-day walk to consistency. We got the strength, strategy, and mindset. We've got our fasting shows that we do on a daily basis. We've got this show, which is designed to help with our mindset mastery. All of those things allow you to plug in so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. The encouragement comes from this amazing community that you're part of, this amazing community that you're joining that is growing. When you show up, tell your story. Let us know where you are. What are the benefits that you're seeing? What are you having weight go down? Are you having blood sugars, A1Cs? What is the story of your life? Share that with us, because your exact challenge or your exact success is probably the same thing that somebody else needs. A very smart guy told me that years ago, and I've grabbed onto that. Share your story, but don't just share the successes, also share the places where there are challenges. Because we always see the highlight reels, right? We see the people when they've arrived, they've gotten there, they got the money, they got the house, they've got the health, they've got the whatever it is. We see the success. That's great. And we want to see that because we want to aspire to that. We want to shoot for that. We want to run for that. We want to get there. But we also want to know, what was it like in the middle? Not even at the start. Let me know what it was like in the middle. Because at the start, you had motivation. At the start, you had a reason for what you wanted to do. But in the middle, when it was humdrum and things were coming at you, let me know what that was like. So share that with us. And let your community know. There are over 1 billion people on the planet right now that have diabetes or prediabetes. That doesn't even include the people who have other metabolic diseases like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, at risk for heart disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and on and on and on. That doesn't even include those. That's 1 billion people. And you can be a voice that says, we don't have to keep going like that. we can be better. We can make a change. And that's what Limitless Living says. And if you are tired of getting off or being on this hamster wheel, as we talk about community, get over to the website, get over to DwainWoodeMD.com. When you get there, scroll down past the welcome video that I have. There's a set of buttons that you press there to watch the videos on the YouTube channel or download the free PDF that guides you through those videos. And right below that, you'll see a button that says Learn More about our Accelerator program. Come join our Accelerator program so that we can begin encouraging each other. It is the vehicle that takes all the things that we talk about, takes all the things that we're learning, and it plugs it in so that you can install that as the default operating system in your life so that we can get you to that long, healthy life that you say you want. And we're not just talking about, hey, that A1C or that blood sugar or that weight. We're talking about how do we keep you alive so that you can do the things you say you want to do, the traveling that you want to do, the hobby you want to pick up, the time you want to spend with your significant other. You guys have put all this time into working and it's time to retire. What are we going to do now? We can't do it if we're not healthy. You guys are growing a family. And we got kids. We want to wrestle with them on the floor. We want to teach them our hobbies. We want to see the young man, the young woman get into college. We want to see them graduate. We want to walk the daughter down the aisle. We don't want to be in the house anymore so that our family is out doing their thing and we can't go because we're confined, because we're not mobile. If that's the hamster wheel you want to get off, go ahead and join our Accelerator program. Let's make this personal. Let's make this community grow so that we can all begin moving in that direction of long, healthy life. That's what we're doing, long, healthy life. Hey, I am so excited that I'm with you, that you guys are here. All of you who've come through, once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's do this. Let's hop over, and I do see some of our community members. See some other folks popped in. Let's go back. Where was I? Oh, way back up here. Okay, here we are. So Kenty said 12:33 Tuesday afternoon. So you're ahead of us. Gian says, hi, doctor. Hey, doc. Hey, Gian. Hi, Kenty. 9:34 a.m. on Tuesday. So you guys are ahead of us as well. Gian is in South Korea. Gian says, hi, Steve. Teresa. Kenty says, Gian, good to be with you and everyone else. Hi, Pam from Gian. Hi, Teresa from Gian. Pam says, hi. Yeah, so great to be with you. I am so grateful for all of you. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Hi, Pam. How are you? Pam says, I'm okay. How about you? Hey, Gian. Gian said, thank you for asking. Pam says, I've been around a little bit. I've been around a little bit. I see Pam. Bowie, what's up, Bowie coming in? She says hi to everybody, and everybody just saying hi to her. I'm good in Tennessee. So we got Tennessee in the house. We've got South Korea. We've got let's see, Canada in the house. We've got the New Zealand in the house. We've got, of course, here in Alabama in the house. I'm in good. Okay. Bowie says, Juan says, hi, Bowie. How's your fasting, OMAD? Just normal for now. I'm learning how to use my CGM, and I want to see what my. Okay. Very good. So monitoring, very important. Very, very important. CGM like the Dexcom. Okay. Which one do you have, Bowie? Do you have the the Dexcom, or do you have the Libre? Good, Bowie. Teresa saying, hey, Bowie. And Gian says, thank you, Doc. Awesome. So as you see, I do both of them. I have the Libre and I have the Dexcom that I wear. This is the Dexcom, this is the Libre, and they both work. And you've seen the differences between the different ones. Okay, all right. So we will be back as we do our fasting, starting our fasting tomorrow, right about 1:30, between 1 and 1:30, sometime in there. Wednesday night we'll have our show at 33 hours. Wednesday, we'll check in again. Thursday night, we'll have our show at 9 o'clock. And on Friday, we'll have our complete review of fasting, how to get into the fast, preparing for it, how to make it through the fast successfully, and then, of course, how to break the fast. And come on, get to see what I eat for the first time in 72 hours. Actually, tomorrow you'll get to see what I eat for my last meal as I get into the fast. So come join us, and then we'll move through the rest of this week. Always excited when I get to be with you, when I get to work with you and get to enjoy this space. I'm excited for the benefits that I'm seeing, that you are seeing, the results that you're seeing in your life. Remember, we are living limitless lives, which says that we're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans. We're pushing through the boundaries, we're breaking through the borders, and we are living limitless lives. Now go live a limitless life. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Good night, everybody. For our community members, you'll see that link pop up in the community area in Kajabi. We'll see you over there in just a minute. Good night, everybody.